Hello everyone, we're gonna try this again after I muted myself in the first minute of the last stream. That was genius. Anyways, welcome to our little tutorial here. We're doing creating and editing schedules. There's people been asking about this, and I have some time. Plus, I need to get some flights in my LAX. See, I've already started. I was doing the 5 o'clock hour, which we already started, and then literally the first flight, I accidentally muted myself and didn't realize it because I wasn't paying attention, like an idiot. Suboptimal, baby. Anyways, so I've got pulled up here a few different files. On my right, I have my LAX information, which I just grabbed from FlightAware a long time ago. But this is basically, I'll go through what kind of all that has in a minute. It's on my right. On my left is the schedule file, which I'm using. This is actually I have two schedule files. In this case, I have it where I have every hour I write down how many flights there are and things like that, and then I have one where I just put them all in. On the bottom left is the airplane file for the game, KALX_airplanes. You'll find it in your KLX directory in your game. This just has all the plane codes. This I want to have up because this is useful for if you're trying to find a plane and what the code is for it. You just go into this, find the plane, write in the code. There you go. And then on the right we have the airline file. Close the find thing there. And this is used basically for just finding shit. Okay, that's better. But this is how you find your airplanes. Everything, if you notice, uses the IATA code. So if you don't know the IATA code, you just pull this up. You look up the IACO code, which is what we have in this file, and you can find the IATA code. I have it. I always type it in full case and match case, just because sometimes you get ones where I'm trying to find one on here right now, but Taka, I guess, would be an example. Costa Rica, TAT. That's going to come up quite a few times in different words and shit and stuff. Excuse me. That's going to be a pain in the ass. So, anyways, let me go ahead. Those will disappear in a second. Let me go ahead and scroll through this real quick, and then I'll. So I left off on Alaska. Let me find that Alaska I was working on. There it is. I was working on Alaska 457. As it tells us, so this is the airline and flight number. ASA, Alaska. You can look that up in the airline file if you really want to. 457. They're flying a Boeing 737-800. There we go. Going to Seattle. This I've cut out the thing on there when FlightAware has it on there on the tops, but this is the departure time. This is when they're expected to arrive in Seattle. So I just cut it out because I don't really care. This part we don't really have to worry about. This is most of what we care about in the middle here. And then when we're doing arrivals, the opposite. We care about the arrival time. We don't give two craps about when they actually left, Seattle or anything like that. So let's go and get working on one here. I'm going to hide these for a second. They'll come back up and real quick. But actually, you know what? F it. We'll just keep them up. Oh, you won't be able to see what I'm editing. Let me pull this up so you can see it. If I type it out while those are up, you can see what we're working on. Okay. So we're going to be doing that next American flight to Fort Worth. So, there it is. What do we have? We have, first off, where are we leaving from? Excuse me. So I get a little frog in my throat. Where are we leaving from? Well, we're at LAX, so obviously we're leaving from LAX. That's the first thing we're going to do. That's our departure airport. Where's it going to? Fort Worth, DFW. As we just use the IACO codes on those. The airplane he's flying a 788, which seems really wrong, but we may have to fix that one later. That seems an odd one for going to Fort Worth, but it is a hub flight anyways. So they're flying 788, so what we'll do, I know the code is already typed it in there, but we'll look at the airplanes file. We'll scroll down. Boeing 787 is 788. So we type in 788. There we go. And like I said, that file is useful because if you don't know the code, you can look it up, and then if you run into issues where the game isn't running, a lot of times that's one of the first things I'd look at if it stops at like the 63-minute mark or so, or 72-minute mark, 72%, excuse me, mark, is to take a quick look and through, kind of separate and just kind of look and see if your airplanes are right. Because I ran into issues when I was doing Philly. Delta flies a bunch of Delta still has some 717-200s, and in the game, in the file with the real traffic, those are listed as 717, and scroll up here where we have that. And flight order they're listed as 712s. If we just type in 712, the game will not load. It does not like that. Anyway, so let's go look up what is the code for American Airlines. I'll give you a hint. It's really, really easy. But just to show you how we're doing this, we're going to look up AAL. We're going to match that case. It's AA. There you go, AAL, AA, American Airlines, United States. Perfect. Let's duck those out now. Pop, pop. So we type in AA. The flight number's next. What flight number is it? It is 2373. There we go. And if it's a smaller flight number, let me see, 59 is coming up. I'll show you that in a second. We basically just use a spacer to space it. You don't have to do that as far as I'm aware. It's just nice to keep everything nice and organized. So when does it arrive in Fort Worth? Well, we don't really care. The game, honestly, I've never seen it actually show you any of that or do anything with that. So as far as I'm concerned, it's absolutely pointless. On a departure flight, and likewise the departure time on an arrival flight is pretty much useless. So I just fill in with a random number. If you ever look at the real traffic schedule, they do the same thing. They just, well, a lot of times just put in, I forget if it's that or Schedule Creator. One of them anyways just puts in just like 12 o'clock for everything. So when is it leaving? This is one we do actually want to know. It is leaving at 5:30. We put that at 17:30. Everything's in 24-hour time. It does on 3D run on local time, so you don't have to adjust it. I believe 2011 used UTC time, so you would have to know the adjustment to you from local to UTC. In this case, luckily we don't. Thankfully. Because that got a little annoying to do. And then we just type in the 1, which is that's your time between departure to arrival. That's how long your flight is. Because we don't care, we just put 1. The game doesn't care either. And then we just retype in the airline code. I don't think you have to actually have to do that. I think I've had it load without that before, but just in case, I just kind of follow what I know. So let's continue on. We have our next one's another American flight. They're going to Kona, KOA, on a 321. Again, we know American's AA. Now it's 59. We could type it like this, but then it gets all out of order. So what we're going to do is we're going to space over 2. 1, 2, 59. There you go. Now it's all nice and neat. Again, we don't care when it arrives. When's he leaving? At 17:35. That's 1. That's AA. Boom. Got another one going to Hawaii as well. Going to Kailua. I don't know. Another American. He's 161, so we space over 1. 161. Don't care about the arrival time. Leaves as well at 17:35. AA. Boom. And we have a Speedbird coming up next. He's going to Heathrow. He's flying a 388. We will pull up real quick. Let's see. Make sure. Yes, indeed, the 388 does exist. We can go ahead and use it. Now, I already know British Airlines code. You may know British Airlines code. Just for an example, let's say you don't know again. We'll just take a quick look at that. Once again, we'll pull up. I'm popping my mic. Deal with it. Actually popping my mouth on my mic, but or look that up again. What is Speedbird's code? Oh, he's on the top. Well, let's go up direction then. Look, he's BA, and it's code name Speedbird. You can also use this if you don't know a code name ever. You just pull this file up, type in the airline code, and be like, oh, CES is China Eastern. Okay. Except for frickin' Interjet, which drives me insane. It's Interjet, not Takas. It's Interjet now. So, BA. I will fix that in the file. You can fix that in the file too. I'll have to show that sometime. 282. He is also leaving at 17:35, right? Yep, there we go. 1 BA. There you see, this is just all we're going to basically be doing. Is just kind of doing this. Get the code in, get the flight number in. 285, not 285K. Needs at 1740. 1 AA. And that's basically all you're doing. And then arrivals, you just flip it around. Arrivals, you would do just to flip that around for you. So arrivals, he would be leaving from Lahu, whatever, LHI, arriving at LAX, flying at 321, airline code, flight number, arrival time, departure time 1 AA. And there you go. So that's basically all we do. We just basically would flip this. We would have, instead of leaving LAX, going to LIH, he's leaving LAH, going to LAX on a 321. It's operated by American Airlines. Flight number is 285. He arrives at LAX at 1740, leaves LAH at 2300. Time in between is 1 because we don't care, and again, it was an American flight. There's your arrivals. Alright. I just don't have arrivals to work on, that's why I'm just giving you that example real quick. I have all my arrivals in, I just don't have, I'm missing 2 hours of departures I've never gotten put in. 2300, 1740, 1 WN, LAX mix, 7:38 AM. Aeromexico is AM. I think I actually do have it on that file that I wanted to show you. I think he's up towards the top. Check that. Yeah. He's up towards the top there. There he is. Aeromexico AM. I just kind of remember that. As you do these, if you do it a lot, like I've typed them in a lot, there's another way of doing it in Excel, which I'll show another time, which is a lot easier, I think. Well, I don't know if it's easier, it's quicker. I feel it's quicker. It's not always the easier way of doing it, but it's quicker. But I've typed in a lot of these at the time, so I know like WN Southwest, AM is Aeromexico, EA is British Airways, UA is United. We got an NKS coming up, I'll tell you that one. That one's also easy, you can kind of see it in the file already, but... Got a Delta going to San Jose on a 752, flying a DL, 8854, 2300, 41 DL. LAX to Austin on a 319er, Delta 1461, 2300, leaving at 1740, 1 DL. LAX to SFO on a 738, that's operated by United, which I just said was UA, we're going to space over because it's a 480. 300, 1743, 1, UA. Alright. The Spirit Wings, as I was saying, they're going to Seattle as well. Actually, I haven't had a Seattle flight in a while. Suboptimal, baby. So, Spirit Wings NK. Very simple. A few of these are a little bit odd. JetBlue is B6, for example. Interjet is 40. We got a SkyWest coming up. That's another one that changes. Some of these are really, a lot of these have been really simple so far. There's a few you will have to actually look up if you don't know them offhand. There's a few I still have to look up because I don't always remember. So, speaking of SkyWest, they're flying an E170. We can look it up in the airplane file, but it's just E70. I'll tell you that right now. SkyWest is, I call them ooh because they're a double O. So every time we say ooh, I'm usually talking about SkyWest most of the time. Or something just happened that's really interesting. Most of the time I'm just talking about SkyWest though. That's all I think of them. CRJ1 is a CR1. Can we look that up? Yes, you probably would if you're doing it on your schedule and you don't know that offhand. You'd want to look that up. Again, I kind of know that. And we'll actually have to take a look at to see if that has a livery eventually. That's a test, by the way, if you ever want to know, for checking if you want to check your real color liveries and see what has a livery. One way you can do that, I'm sure there's probably another way that's maybe even easier. Go to Wikipedia, look up the airline, see what they fly, copy those over, see what they... In fact, we'll look that up. SkyWest. Go to Wikipedia, there's SkyWest Airlines. And yes, Wikipedia is not always right, but Wikipedia is easy enough. Previously current fleet, don't really care about that. So, SkyWest does fly a CRJ1, a CRJ2, a CRJ7, a CRJ9, and an E75. 175, but E75. Why do we care about that? Well, basically what we're going to do is we would then copy, we would make a CRJ1, a CRJ2, a CRJ7, a CRJ9, and an E175 flight. We could do something like that, like 5583, 5584, 5585. Just keep everything else having launch at the same time, and all we would do is we'd just load that up at that time. Take a look at the airplane, see if any don't have a livery, copy which ones they are, and then change them to something similar. So like a CRJ1, we just make a CRJ2 if they have a CRJ2, because it's not perfect, it's similar enough. Your CRJ7, you might make a CRJ9. Your CRJ9 make a CRJ7. Again, not close, but they work. You could also make it if they have an E75 but not a CRJ7, you could do the E75. Or if they have a CRJ7 but an E75, you can make the E75 of 900. Again, are they super close? Yeah, but it works. Most of the time, it's more your ability to live with it than if you can stand the fact that it's not 100% perfect, you'll be alright. If you can't, then you might have to live without there not being a livery. I'm trying to think if there's anything on here that's really going to be... we'll go down to Horizon, and I'll show you that real quick. I'm not going to put in this private flight, by the way. That goes in a separate file. That's why I'm not doing it. I will show you how to edit that someday. In fact, I may even do it after this. Who knows? Of course, I don't have really flights to edit for that. UA 750. So let me just real quick pop these in. YVR. 321. Air Canada is just AC. That's one I always forget because I don't get as many other Air Canada flights on some of my schedules. Or XPHX 321 6. Oops. See there, I forgot to space that over. Skipping that one. So this, again, as I've said, this is slightly less efficient way of doing it. At least to me, it feels like it just takes longer. I'm not sure if it actually does, but there's an easier way of doing it in Excel, which I'll have to show you later. I just want to show you at least one way of doing it. And then I'll pop up the Excel one. We'll work on the Excel one at some point. I want to get this done. That's the main reason I'm not doing the Excel one, because I wanted to get my LAX one done. E75, I think it's just 75L. Pop that up for you. We can take a look ourselves. We have an E75L, which doesn't actually exist in the game. We could use the cheat. It's the EMJ, which is just a random. We're not. We're just going to use the E75. Not quite the same, but it'll get the job done. Make sure it doesn't get put down here in the bottom. It did not. Okay. So there you go. So if we try to put 75L, your game ain't loading. Gotta put E75 for that. That's where that's useful for checking. Something like that. It was like, is there that's just gonna be an E75? And then of course, like I said, we'd want to check eventually, does SkyWest, we know they fly an E75, is that actually modeled in the game? Well, modeled in real traffic. If it wasn't, then we'd change it over. LAX ELP 737 5326. Oops. Helps we put the airline in there, don't it? I get a little ahead of myself at times. That's the other benefit of doing it on the Excel. It's a lot less error prone. That's the chance. Alright, so I finally got to my MMH here. So that's a DH8. I'll back up airplane file here. So the DH flights, they have separate codes. They aren't just DH8s. You can just do a straight DH8, but if you want to do it to what the airline actually is, so DH8 8D. You see, we have A, B, C, D, 7, and 8, as well as 6, 3, 2, 1, blah blah blah. So the 8D is the DH4. And when we did Philly, there were a couple like Piedmonts that were like the B or the A. They're like DH2s, DH4s. We had a DH3 and a DH1. Some of those didn't have modeling, so they got changed. But just to tell you, those do come up, the A, B, C, and Ds. So those are DH1, 2, 3, 4, depending on the letter. So in this case, Horizon's pretty much all DH4s. Yeah, in case you were wondering. And I should know that code. I believe it's Q8. Horizon is QX. It's basically a play on their current one. QXE. I cheated and used my own. Yeah, it's QX. It was QX. Hey, see, that's kind of the thing you do because sometimes you don't remember the code. It's much easier just to real quick look it up. So it's DH4, DH8D, so it's DH4. Ryzen, QX. 2194, 2300. 1855, 1. Oops, not WX, we want QX. That's good, let's just finish this out. As long as you're here, you might as well watch the end of it, right? Actually, you're not going to watch the end of it, but we're just going to keep going through it real quick, power through it here real quick. 332, Hawaiians HA. Very simple like that. 9. LAX to Tucson. Again, we got another E75L, which is just E75. 5438. You will have issues now and then. You may have an issue with a overlapping flight number, which you won't find out when you get in game. And usually it's just because the flight uses the same number and then leaves again primarily for arrival and departure, I should say. Southwest is bad about that. And then the game sometimes jumbles your arrivals up. I don't know how it decides that. But every so often it will jumble your arrivals up a little bit on you, so you'll end up getting duplicate flight numbers. That's pretty easy to fix. Again, I just say we just edited our flight number. We just edited it to another one. Usually you will rarely have like one. If you just change this FAR number, like if I change this to 5439, very rarely am I going to have a conflict then. That's a simple fix for that if you do run into that issue. Sure, 773. I'm not going to show you this, but I'm going to check, make sure there is 773. There should be. Yes, there is. It's always good to check if you're never sure. Especially if you're doing a lot of hours at once, which I have done in the past. It saves you time later from having to figure out if it's working or not, because I have seriously had times where I literally had like most of the schedule done. I had to go in and separate each hour trying to find what flight wasn't working. That got really annoying really quickly. So that's my suggestion, is generally as much as you can, look stuff up. Even if it takes you an extra second or two, it's a lot better than the time it will take you to fix it. That you're just doing 1 hour at a time. So there, that's done. Then I just do a quick little count through because I like to keep track of how many flights I have. It's not 100% accurate because I'm doing a lazy count. So let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. There we go. I type in total, 45. These slashes just tell it not to actually read that. That's why it's slashed off, so... And I have it slashed off here just to save time for the 1800. That's just telling the game, this is not code or whatever it is. Don't read that. So it just ignores it. So that's why you use the double slash. That's how you can remove flights as well. If you just want a really quick way to remove a flight in the schedule, let's do that. What did I say that was? There it is. 45. I keep track down here of what the flights are. 45, 45. Nice. So there we go. We have 5 o'clock down. Found out there is 90 flights at 5 o'clock on our real traffic thing. So there you go. That's how you create and edit schedules. Let me know if you want to know how to find the files. It's usually pretty easy. I just couldn't get my display capture to load to show you exactly where it is. But if you're doing it on Steam, it would be Steam, Steam Apps, Common, Tower 3D Pro, Extensions, Airfield, LAX. If you're doing it through the non-Steam version, it would probably be Tower 3D Pro, Extensions, Airfields, LAX, or Tower 3D if you're using Tower 3D. So there we go. That's the how to edit a schedule. Can't really think of much else to add to that, but and I'll probably show later on. I'll show the Excel way of doing it. This is just, like I said, one way of doing it. And I'll probably show GA, and we may look at how to edit airlines and stuff like that. It's all pretty easy, but it just, like I said, it's mostly just knowing what to do. Once you know what goes where, it becomes pretty easy, and it'll eventually be like, oh, this is really, really easy. Save that file. Because I felt the same way when I originally started doing, when I was originally looking at them, it was like so daunting, and then you find out how it works, and then you're like, oh, okay. Kind of testing and kind of looking at stuff, you can kind of figure out, it's like, okay, this is how that works, and then it becomes easier. So, that's the tutorial for how to create and edit schedules. Thanks for watching. This time I didn't mute myself, thankfully, so we'll come back and probably either do another tutorial, do a video, who knows. Anyways, may even take a quick look at that, what we just put in there later in a second, who knows. Anyways, later.